Meet Kazeem, a British Nigerian entrepreneur who started his journey by selling shisha on the streets of South London. He learned how to flip houses in his early 20s, turning abandoned buildings around and selling them for millions of pounds.
What would you say is your biggest profit you've made on a single property?
There's some deals where I've made in excess of £500,000.
Profit?
Profit, yes.
Today, he owns over 20 properties in the UK and has completed over £50 million in transactions.
Over the last 18 months, collectively, that's the GDV.
50 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Today, I'm flying to London to spend the weekend with him and learn exactly how he did it.
How did you get into this space? You're Nigerian, right?
Nigerian, right? Nigerian and English.
Nigerian and English.
Yeah.
Okay. Which side of the family is?
My dad's Nigerian,
Okay.
Lagosian. I was born in the UK, mum's English. I've been in property now for about 13 years, I think I bought my first
13
property.
years. When you were trying to get your first property, was it, first of all, where did the money come from?
So the first ever one was from my first business. So that shisha lounge at the time,
Okay.
like shisha markups were like insane. Like you're buying shisha for like the equivalent of like £1 and you selling it for like £30.
Oh, wow,
So we were
really?
just turning that over, and then we had the shisha lounge, we had pop-ups at some of the biggest like nightclubs in the UK, and then we were also doing festivals. So we were doing like thousands of pounds of profit every day.
Yo.
But we didn't own the building. We only had something called a license to trade rather than a lease, which meant at any point the landlord could say, listen,
Yeah.
get out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're doing really well, just get out. You know, mentally, I said, okay, whatever I do next, I have to own. So like, that was like, and I think it's very much like a Nigerian mentality,
Yeah.
you know,
We want to own
we don't
out.
rent, we buy.
So what property is this one?
So we bought 4 properties recently at the Savills auctions.
Okay.
They're one of the biggest UK auction houses. Then they're all very similar. So this one is a 1-bedroom ground floor flat.
Okay.
What we're going to be doing is we've got full planning to extend the property with a side return extension. So that's when you go out to the rear and across the side. So we're going to take it from being a 1-bedroom flat to a 2-bedroom flat. You can see in terms of what we've done, we've had to replace all of the ceilings, so they've all come down, and we're going to do complete rewire, and then we've also changed the layout.
Oh,
so
okay.
this was previously just one room, and it would have been the living room to the property. But now it's actually going to be bedroom number 1 just here. Just here is going to be the family bathroom. This is now going to be the principal bedroom, and then there's going to be an ensuite shower room for the principal bedroom.
Is this how most houses in London are?
In terms of the
UK?
floors, yes. So a lot of them will have a timber floor. You do get some with like concrete slab floors as well. But yeah, most of them are going to be timber.
Do you usually buy properties and then make those changes, or do you just buy and sell, or you try to flip them?
Yeah, like so when we're flipping, it's all about adding value. Over like the years previously, you could have really relied on just the market pulling you along. So it's like just buy a property, prices go up, and you kind of win-win. Whereas now, when the market conditions are a little bit tougher, you've really got to make sure that you can add that value. So in an area like this where the prices are expensive per square foot, adding that additional space adds a lot of additional value. So this one, for example, we bought it for approximately 430,000. We're probably going to spend around 110,000 refurbishing out with the rear extension, and it's going to go to market offers in excess of 800,000.
Oh wow, so that's like a 200k plus?
Yeah, so that 200k on the uplift side, which
dope.
is
That's,
nice
that's,
deal.
that's some good money.
It's not too bad, it's not too bad. We can buy some snacks.
Buy the orange Porsche.
You know that I'm not a car person, so I actually ordered this car online. But then it took like 6 months to make it. So for that whole 6 months, I'm thinking, what idiot orders an orange Porsche? But I couldn't change it at this point. But when it came, I actually liked it, and I still like the car now.
This is the next one? Which one?
This one, so it's another lower grounds. Like you said, when you find something that works,
Yeah.
we just rinse and repeat. So we go again.
okay.
So this one, outside, we had to do all of the new stairs. These were really old wrought iron stairs that we fixed up to make sure they're much nicer.
So guys, we need to wear this on our shoes so we don't mess up the floor.
So this one, a lot further along, probably 98, 99% finished. This room's really stayed in its same layout, but we've moved the kitchen from the rear of the property to the front to create this like open plan kitchen living room feel. That's the bedroom. You then got the shower rooms. This is a very small micro flat.
This is nice. Let me check. There's something I do in all my apartments. I have the tile Aina shower test.
Oh, to check if you can stand.
Yeah.
It's right, barely. It's just on your head.
Yeah, but it's still.
You can still manage.
I can still manage.
As long as you're not still growing.
Can you give us a breakdown in terms of cost?
So this one, I believe we purchased for 373,000 at auction. Then got auction associated costs, which are probably another £6,000 of fees we paid. We then had the stamp duty, which costs circa another maybe £20,000. And we then got our cost of finance, so the cost of actually borrowing the money, which is £30,000. And we then got the cost of the renovation. We've got new kitchens, new bathrooms. All of the woodwork has been changed. That's skirtings, alcatraves. So all in, I say, yeah, we're probably in for about 500K, and this will be going to the market around the 600 mark.
So that means the profit on this will probably be like 100?
About 100K over a sort of like 6 to 9 month period.
How many projects are you doing now at the moment?
So at the moment, we got the 4 flats over in Croydon, and we've then got this Fulham one you come to, the other Fulham one, Brixton, Clapham, Maida Vale.
He's a busy businessman, making money. Did you come from a wealthy background?
Definitely not so. Like my dad, first generation migrant. My mum moved from Devon and was working as like a youth worker in Brixton. My dad was doing the minicab.
Oh, he was a cab driver?
A minicab driver.
Oh, wow.
But he was doing that whilst like running a market stall, like selling, you know, the typical Nigerian wares.
Stuff, yeah.
And whilst also doing his training to become a solicitor. The way I always look at things is obviously with my dad being like a first generation migrant, he's come and he's taken things so far, and it's my job to kind of run with it and see how far I can take things until I pass it.
What was it like growing up in London for you?
Yeah, I think like as a kind of mixed race, English Nigerian, like it was interesting because back then there was no whiz kid, there was no burner light. So being African wasn't cool in the way it is now. African culture is like, you know,
it's all over
massive,
the place now, with
transcendent.
Afrobeats and Amapiano and all of that.
In everything.
Did you ever face racism at any point?
Yeah, but I think almost, and it sounds bad, but it's almost like it's just accepted. And then even becoming like a property investor and speaking to you about like, you know, walking into estate agents.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind at this point, I already own and have a property portfolio.
Yeah.
And before anyone's even looked up, they're just like, oh yeah, lettings is over there, mate. Because they're just assuming that you're not here to buy anything.
And that's why you got the orange Porsche.
Yeah. So when I park outside and they look up, they're gonna say, okay, what are you here for, brother? Thank you.
Did you work at any company before?
But yeah, I always worked. I worked from like 15. Yeah.
What was your first job?
So my first ever job was at Primark. I went from Primark to Phones for You. There's only UK people gonna remember Phones for You. It used to be Phones for You. That was like the symbol for the thing. Before even starting that job, you have to go on a 5-day training course to Birmingham where they teach you how to sell, how to build relationships. And then I did that for a few years, whilst I think setting up the shisha business, then went full-time into shisha. In terms of really understanding property, I always say this to people, like property isn't any different from any other type of business. Like if tomorrow, if you want to sell sandwiches, you're going to go somewhere, you're going to say, okay, how much will they buy these sandwiches for? You say, okay, they're going to buy sandwiches for £5. You then go to Tesco, Sainsbury's, how much can I get bread? How much can I get cheese, the butter, all the ingredients for? Okay, great. What do I want as my time for making them, and are people gonna buy them? As long as there's a margin in the middle, you can make money, and it's the same with property. And I think too many people get lost in the fact that they think they need to be a solicitor, they need to be an architect, they need to be a builder. You buy in the expertise, and a lot of the time what you are as a property developer, you need to be able to do the deal analysis, and then you're a project manager. So a lot of the skill sets you have from other jobs are gonna be really translatable to wanting to invest in property.
Later in this video, Kaz is going to show me his biggest property deal, which made him over £500,000. But before he does that, I'd love to talk about Saily, the sponsor of today's video. If you're a traveler like me, you know that whenever you move to a new country, your local SIM stops working and you usually have to get a new one to get access to the internet. This process is very time consuming and very stressful, and there have even been cases where I've been stuck in a new country where they don't speak the same language and I couldn't access the internet to use Google Translate. I've also had cases where I couldn't book accommodation or request an Uber from the airport to my hotel because I didn't have internet on my phone. All these problems vanished when I discovered Saily, the eSIM service app, which connects me directly to the internet without the need of any physical SIM. It works in over 160 countries and has eliminated all my roaming fees. All I needed to do was download the Saily eSIM app from the iOS or Android store, select my country, choose a data plan, select the number of days I'll be using it, input the discount code, and click Click on activate and voila, I was connected to the internet. The Segement eSIM app has been a game changer for me and has made my travels way more enjoyable, and I'm thankful to them for sponsoring this video. If you love to support this channel and elevate your travel, click on the link in the description below to download the Segement eSIM service app and use the code Aina at checkout to get a 15% discount on any plan and destination. Shout out to Segement for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump right back into the video.
How easy is it to get into real estate space generally?
Realistically, the main barrier to entry in real estate is capital, because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
So but if you have money, it's not difficult to get into it. But when the market's like it is now, where the market's a bit tougher, prices are kind of stagnating, anybody can get into it, but it's about how good you can be in the space. Because anyone can go and buy a property, but it's can you add value? Can you buy properties that yield really well, properties that make good investment vehicles? This is another property we have. We're in Tooting now, so we're giving you the real tour of southwest London today.
We've gone across London today, man.
Exactly, we're other side of the river now. So behind me, this property we actually bought with planning permission, and this is sort of like a little magic trick. So we took it and bought it as a 1-bedroom flat, and we've turned it into 2 flats. So 1 2-bed and 1 1-bed.
Oh, and it was bought as how many bedrooms before?
So it was purchased as 1 1-bedroom flat.
Oh, wow.
And now we've got 2 flats.
How is that possible? How are you multiplying it inside?
So it's it's not witchcraft.
Okay.
What we've basically done is we've extended up into the loft. So the loft conversion is where the additional flat is. And then along with the loft conversion, we've also done internal reconfigurations to maximize the space. So this is the 2-bedroom flat. You'll see it, like obviously the last flat, we were very much in a case where it wasn't staged. But a lot of the time when you stage a property, somebody might look at this and feel like, oh, it's just a kitchen, but you put a sofa here, a coffee table, you set where the TV would go, and people can really then envisage themselves living and using the space. This is the family bathroom.
Ooh, this is nice.
This typically would have been just like 1 bedroom, but it's now the 2 bedrooms, obviously slightly smaller, but you can still see again through the use of furniture, you can see how they would work as, you know,
have like a TV here.
Exactly, you could have a TV here, you could have your wardrobe up there. This is flat number 1, and then upstairs you've got the 2nd flat. This was just the entrance to the whole flat.
Oh, okay.
But we've separated it, put a staircase going up, and then made this an additional flat. So now you've got the master bedroom with a roof terrace.
This is proper space management.
Yeah, so you've got your small
here,
micro kitchen, exactly, sort of set back, so it's not in your way. And then over here, obviously for yourself, obviously it doesn't have the most head height, but obviously if you're watching TV,
like me now,
you can't use all of the room. But as soon as you're sitting down, it's still cool, right? You can still enjoy the space.
Oh, this is nice. This is actually nice. Not even for the video. This is nice. So I recently saw an article online where it says that you and your community, you've done over £50 million in property.
Over the last 18 months, collectively, that's the GDV.
50 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but I think it just shows the power of community, but also I think people shouldn't get lost in the metrics of numbers like, oh, this person did 50 million, because I can go and show you somebody that did 100 million, someone that did 500 million, and you shouldn't get lost in that being your measure of success.
So for you, what is like your mission with real estate?
So I just genuinely love what I'm doing. Like if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, wow.
So I think the idea of taking like these rundown homes and creating like nice properties amazing, but then also kind of changing what is the status quo of what a property developer looks like. Because when I first went to networking events, it was very much a case of very like much older middle class white males who dominated the industry. Now when we go to things like the UK Black Business Show, I'm meeting with like hundreds of property investors that look like me, sound like me. So being able to kind of share what is actually possible, for me, has been an amazing part of my journey personally.
So how much was your first sale in real estate?
The first property that I sold, I think I sold it for 310.
Did you buy that one or just?
So I bought that one as well. So I have never been an agent. So I've never actually been the person that sells and gets commission. I've always been either the developer, the owner that purchased the property. So
what would you say is your biggest profit you've made on a single property?
numbers wise, because I guess percentage is more important.
Okay.
So I'd say like there's some deals where, you know, made in excess of £500,000 from the deals, and that was quite
On profit?
yeah. For argument's sake, I bought a house in Croydon for 450,000, spent a 400,000 renovating the property, doing a rear extension, side, loft conversion, and converted that to 4 flats. Then ended up selling that just over 1.35 million, so made around 500k profit. But what was really nice about that one is actually, because it was 4 flats, got to name the building. So that one's actually named after my late grandmother. So it's called Khadija House.
Oh.
So that was a nice one as well.
Awesome, awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, so now we've talked about, mostly we've talked about the good parts and the amazing part. Did you face any problems? Because people who are hearing this might just be like, oh, this guy has had it smooth sailing, you know, it has been success to success. What are some of the problems you faced on your journey?
I think in terms of navigating, just finding the right people to work on alongside, now I've got like an amazing team, from my architect, structural engineer, solicitor, mortgage broker. But I always say I had to kiss a lot of frogs to get there. I had to deal with the architects who had no idea what they were doing and just drew pretty pictures that would never get planning. Deal with like the solicitors that wouldn't get back to you. Deal with the builders that would run away with your money.
Oh wow, you've had that happen to you?
Yeah, so in terms of whether or not they wanted to or not, just people that are mid-build, they just overpromise and under-deliver. And now it's a case of, it's your name that's on the title, it's you that signed the personal guarantee.
Yeah.
So even if it's their fault, you can't get stuck in, oh, well, it's not my fault, I'm gonna hope they resolve it.
How lucrative is the real estate market in the UK?
One thing that's great about the UK property space is the demand, because there is a very limited, we're not creating new land. We're not like Dubai. It's not like Nigeria where there's space to expand out to and build it. So if you look at like prices, it's very obvious where the value is. Zone 1, most expensive, and then it goes outwards from there like a nucleus. So for me at the moment, obviously the buy-to-let sector has been squeezed a lot through changes in taxation and things like that that are affecting the profitability. So that's why I'm focusing on really flipping those properties and flipping with purpose. And then when I go to invest, I invest in stuff like HMOs. So that's like the house shares, house of multiple occupancies.
What about Airbnbs, like maybe people who want to buy stuff like this and put it on an Airbnb to make money?
No, Airbnb, like I'm not good at Airbnb. I haven't got the time. People doing prostitution in the house, people doing parties, drugs, whatever. Like it's not worth it for me where I am. But at the same time, the few properties that I have on Airbnb, the ones that I have that I've kept, they do really well. They make 3 times the monthly rental income from those areas. So I think it's how much time do you have and how well can you systemize it. I'd say if you can get to like that magic number of maybe having like 5 to 10 that run really well in good areas that have high occupancy rates, it can work really well. And there's other things, not just Airbnb, like maybe looking at semi-independent living and assisted living. So that's where you rent your properties, not to the private rental tenants, but maybe the local authority that gives you a premium. So there are other ways to, even if the Airbnb market has been squeezed, to still utilize your assets more efficiently.
What's your advice for anybody who is like, probably people on the other side of the screen who are watching this, who want to get into real estate from across the world? What's your advice to them as somebody who has been able to build a successful career out of it?
I would say, starting point, you make your money when you buy. If you buy at the wrong price, it doesn't matter how good you are, how right your refurb is, how good your power team is, how many people you know, the deal is always going to struggle from day one. So make sure as a starting point, you can do deal analysis to know what is a good price and not to overcommit too early. Secondly, I'd say specialization. Like it's all really good to like see Instagram and be like, this person's doing new builds, this person's an agent, this person's doing deal sourcing, this person's doing airspace developments. And it's very easy to get that shiny penny syndrome of just chasing what looks flashy, but focus on doing one thing right and you'll find those additional streams of incomes come through being able to just vertically and horizontally integrate other businesses into what you're already doing really well. My last thing, and this is specifically for people that maybe want to start flipping property, but don't necessarily have the funds in place to do it. Because a lot of people love the idea of real estate, but the reality is there's those capital restrictions. So I'd say if that is you and you're thinking, look, I love property, I think I'm gonna be good at it, but I just don't have the money to buy right now, I'd highly recommend people become like deal sources in different spaces for a number of reasons. Firstly, you hone that skill set that's gonna make you great at what you do when it comes to you flipping property. Secondly, you're gonna build a network and connection of people within the industry, people that are selling deals, people that are buying them, and you're going to become like a person of influence as the go-between. And thirdly, it can pay really well, because if I find you a great deal tomorrow, I say, look, bro, here's this deal, there's 100K profit in it, but my fee is 2K, my fee is 5K. There's 100K, you're happy to pay for that.
Yeah.
So I think I would say becoming a deal sourcer is a great entryway to get into the property space without necessarily needing the financial backing of a number of other ventures.
So what's your plans for the future from here on out?
So I think the community's been running for around 18 months, PBK community. I've loved it and I've massively enjoyed the success that we've seen of the members. So growing that out in terms of not only growing the number of members that are in it, but what we offer. So looking to partner with lenders to have specific bespoke lending products to make it as efficient for our members as possible. From a personal goal as well, we've currently got a property in Dubai, in the UK, and in Lagos in Nigeria. And I've always said I wanted to have properties in 5 countries. So we're on 3 out of 5 at the moment.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think that's all. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
I appreciate you having
Thank
me
you
on,
so
man.
much. So guys, I'm going to link his YouTube channel and his pages down in the description below. You guys should definitely go and check it out and go and subscribe to his channel. He has a channel where he teaches like everything about real estate. And as always, if you guys love this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.